I just sold here on the close of that bar. I feel like the move down is strong enough that before the bulls start buying aggressively, they're going to need a double bottom. So I'm betting on a test back down. If we get 3, 4, 5 consecutive bull bars, then I'll reconsider that and exit for a small loss. I definitely didn't expect that bar. Okay, I'm just going to exit above this big bull bar. I don't know. This has been a rough month for me. I really thought we'd need more buying down here before getting this kind of strong move up. So, I don't know. I guess it was a bad read. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. Just a couple things I want to say about this trade. I'm still upset about it just because what I thought would happen didn't, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why. Like what I did wrong on the actual entry and the initial premise of the trade, that this is strong enough down that we should go sideways here or get a second leg, and that this buy signal bar here shouldn't have worked without a second entry. And that's pretty much the premise I go on when I bet on second legs down or up. So here, this seemed like a really reasonable entry. It's something I've taken many times before. So I don't know why it didn't work. Maybe this is just one of them that didn't work. And I'm upset that I lost the trade. But now looking at it, as soon as I saw this bar, I knew that it didn't fit the pattern of what I expected. And so the fact that I exited right after seeing that, even though I took a loss, a 30-cent loss, it's better than taking a dollar 10-cent loss or a 90-cent loss. So I think I may have been wrong about the premise, but I was right about that something looked off, because after a bar like this and a first entry, it should go sideways. And the fact that it created this big bull bar made me feel like, well, it didn't make me feel like it. It doesn't look like the trades I normally take. Normally, there isn't a big bull bar that follows. There is a silver lining, for me at least, that I'm able to identify when it looks wrong after entering. And so I am pretty I'm pretty happy that I was able to exit where I did. But now I just need to figure out like how I should be entering this, if I was right to do it or if I need to improve my entry. I've been looking at this chart and other similar charts over the past 2 days and just trying to figure out if I did something wrong, what I did wrong, and how to fix it. My main goal is, if I'm entering these losing trades, the main goal for me moving forward is how do I avoid it in the future. And then once I avoid the bad ones, I can start really focusing on how to make money from them, how to get into the good trades. But my primary goal should be avoiding these bad ones. And what I've been trying to do a lot is to scalp these moves after a big breakout and a weak pullback, or a strong breakout and a bad signal bar where we should go sideways and not up. I figure that because the signal bar is bad, we should go sideways and get back down to test the high of that signal bar. So I'm looking for a sideways move. The problem on the open is that these breakouts are often testing something. And when they're testing something, there's a good chance that it can reverse back up. And I knew that in theory, but in practice, just looking for big breakouts and trying to trade for a second leg, it's hard for me to react to that in real time. And so my intention typically is when we get a weak pullback that I can scalp at least 10 to 20 cents on a pullback here, because we should go sideways and not straight up. So I started to look at all these charts that have these strong breakouts to the downside, and these things reverse up really strongly. It doesn't matter that it's a first entry. If there's strong buying pressure, this can go a really long way without pulling back and doesn't have to go sideways. So here's an example of a tight trading range. This is on April 28th. Tight trading range, really strong breakout. You can argue that this bar here is kind of the second leg because it's a climactic bar. It's a big bar, small bar, and then another bigger bar. So that could be the second leg on a lower time frame. But no sideways here, just straight up all the way to a new high and then stayed there for the whole day. That's similar to today. Or not today, April 30th. Didn't pull back at all, went up to a new high and just stayed sideways for the whole day. Here, same thing. Small, tight trading range, strong breakout, up for the whole day, and then eventually we got a pullback, but I would get stopped out here for sure. Here, same thing. Strong breakout, 2-bar breakout, doesn't matter, straight up to a new high, I'd get stopped out here as well. So even my idea that, hey, I should enter and then leave room to scale in, I would get screwed over many times in that situation. I'd take a full loss all the way up here. Like, I can't afford to take that kind of loss. When I was looking at all these charts and looking for the ones that have a strong breakout and a second leg down, like all these ones, so here's a tight trading range. Here's a tight trading range, strong breakout, looking for a second leg. It's preceded by selling pressure. It's preceded by a bear signal bar. So if I sell in here or in here or in here, that's a low probability sell because I should be waiting for the signal bar. Same with this. Tight trading range or trading range, 2-bar breakout, and then we get this pullback. It's weak, but before the second leg starts, we get this bear signal bar. Here, tight trading range, 2-bar breakout, no signal bar, no good signal bar, but still weak pullback. I don't need to be selling in here for a second leg. I don't need to be selling on the way up during these bull bars to get the second leg. I can wait for this bear signal bar. It just keeps happening. So I'm putting myself in a really tough position by trying to scale in, and other experienced scalpers can do that, but I'm not there yet. So I can't be putting myself in these positions where I'm scaling in on the way up and my stop has to be all the way up here. And there's no need for me to do that when the signal bar is going to show up and give me an opportunity. Here, tight trading range, breakout, follow through, and then weak rally up, 3 bull bars, and then we got selling pressure, right? 2 bear bars and then a bear breakout bar, and another bear bar. Like, you're going to get selling pressure before the second leg happens. So my fix for this trade can't be to figure out how to scalp it better. Like, I'm not experienced enough to do that right now. So my goal has to be, how can I avoid these bad trades? How can I avoid these trades where I'm taking a 30, 40 cent loss? And I think the answer, based on all these charts that I've looked at, is I need to start waiting a little bit more and waiting for the signal bars. So like these kinds of charts where we go up with little buying pressure and then we get a strong sell-off. We get signs of selling pressure. And when we start to get signs, bear bars, signs of selling pressure, then I can start to look to sell. And that increases my probability. Whereas here, there's like no selling pressure. It's just straight bull bars. Here, it's 3 bull bars in a row. Here, it's like one small bear doji. Everything else is bull all the way up to the top. Except for this bear bar here. But just they're all dojis. There's no real selling pressure. So I think that's the adjustment for me, is not to be too focused on how can I master this scalp here. I can still experiment with it. Like, I'm not against the trade. It's just, for me, I think the biggest adjustment is avoid these big losses. And I think that's going to come from waiting for a real signal bar, waiting for a sell. So on the 30th, we did get a bear signal bar here. but not nearly enough selling pressure to erase the up move. After this big bull bar, the big bull breakout, I think that invalidates the sell signal, and it also didn't trigger. So there are many signs here for me to stay out of the trade and avoid a loss.